So hello, Matěj and Michal. You've just finished your presentation at the International Conference for Political Communication here at the Konrad-Adenauer Foundation. Could you guys please briefly introduce yourselves?
Well, hello, my name is Matěj Vybíral and I was a campaign manager of the Bez Bizáru campaign, and I'm also a social media strategist, creative.
And I'm Michal Mikulka. I'm working in political marketing for Civic Democratic Party on local level, and also right now, thanks to the parliamentary elections, I can help to some of our members of parliament.
Great. My first question here is for Matěj, actually. Could you please explain the whole concept of your campaign, Bez Bizáru? What does it mean? Mm-hmm. Who was the target group? Mm-hmm. And how did it even come about?
So it was a campaign made by the youth, for the youth. And it was a campaign, like part of the campaign of the SPOLU-coalition, which was the biggest coalition of the three parties. And it was basically targeted that the opposition had absolutely crazy style of communication. The ex-Minister of Finance dressed as French fry in some TikTok videos, and Babiš did that he talked to a chicken on one of his videos, and they kind of tried to attack young people like this. And the campaign Bez Bizáru, without bizarre, basically wanted to say that young people are not so silly, they are not so stupid that such an easy act can actually make them go vote for the populist party. So we wanted to address it, attack that. It is the same as if you would go to a doctor. You don't expect him to be super funny on social media, but you want him to be rational and do his job, professionally. And it is absolutely the same with politics, and that was the message of the Bez Bizáru campaign. Mm.
It is important to say that it did in fact work, and the election results actually did show that young people, young voters, don't want TikTok dancers, they want serious politicians and experts. Could you please tell us a bit more about the actual result of the SPOLU-coalition among young voters?
Yes, so the SPOLU-coalition actually was the most voted party or coalition by young people. So in that case, it worked, and we did win in this sphere, if you would say it like this.
And also, several young MPs were voted for the very first time. Michal, could you please tell me a bit more about some young MPs who made it into the parliament? Because now we have the youngest parliament in history of the Czech Republic.
Yeah, it's right. And also our party and our coalition has the biggest number of young people in parliament in history. I think the very important thing was for young people and young candidates to be present on social media, to communicate actively there, but not just on social media, to be present in standard medias, televisions and press and stuff like this, and also in outdoor campaign. From our Civic Democratic Party, 2 members of parliament were elected under 30 years old, Štěpán Slovák and Lucie Bartošová. Both of them had some similarities in their campaign. They were able to select one key theme they focused on. It was healthcare, and in case of Lucia, it was education. And they also did a great job on social media, as I already mentioned.
Maybe so that our listeners can understand a bit better, could you guys say something about the election system in the Czech Republic and how the preferential vote works?
Yeah, we have elections divided into 14 regions. And in every region, voters can choose their preference, which candidate should be MP, by encircling their number of on the candidate list. And by this, these young people were able to get into parliament and also skip some of their older colleagues or more experienced colleagues on the candidate list.
Exactly. The voters clearly show that they want some new faces, and they are able to do that in this preferential vote. Awesome. Unfortunately, even though the SPOLU-coalition was the most successful among young voters, it wasn't enough for the coalition to win the entire election. SPOLU-coalition finished in the 2nd place. Could you guys please each share one key lesson that you're taking with you for the future campaign, for the future elections, what it is that you would have done differently now, knowing the result?
Yeah, definitely. So I think that we should have worked harder the whole 4 years. I think like the first half, it wasn't enough, and even the second half, like in the end of the campaign, it was good, but I feel like we really should try much harder the whole 4 years. But also, I think the campaign without Bizarre, it started too soon. It should have started a little bit later, so it would be fresher, because it ran for about 7 months, which is too long. But I think if we did it like 3 months prior to the election, it would be fresh. People would talk about it more, and it would be more interesting to the media.
Yeah, so to pace yourself next time is the most important thing.
Exactly.
And I think next time we should come up more with our own program and present it more. We actually had our own program as young candidates, but we presented mostly through our faces. We didn't present it by the brand as Bez Bizarro, that we have our own topics. We presented by our candidates, but I think it wasn't enough. And next time we should focus more on not just being opposition to current opposition, but we should come up with our own ideas and what we want to change. Not just be against someone, but for something.
I think we weren't setting our agenda enough. It was a big mistake.
That is, I think, a really interesting point and a lesson to maybe other governments as well. When the government stops being a government and becomes an opposition to the opposition, actually. That is really something that we saw, unfortunately, this election. But I think it's something that we can take and learn from. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you for having us.